I'm Jim Garrison, and this is Wisdom University. I think we're all gathered, everyone made it. And welcome to the sixth of our, what are now annual sojourns in this fair place, the world of Geometrica, which has a very special tonality that we'll be exploring over the next 7 days, and we have been for the past 6 years. I have just come from 10 days in Sicily with Bob and Uta and several of the students. Whoever was in Sicily, just raise your hand. For 9 nights, we circumambulated Sicily in preparation for Chartres. And Sicily is a very different tonality. And I felt it very poignantly when I got here. Sicily is a land of chthonic energies. Mount Etna rises, an active volcano for the past 35,000 years that has erupted over 200 times. And for the Romans and the Greeks, it was Mount Etna that was the portal to Tartarus, which was the underworld. So we were on an island completely laced with underground caverns of fire and mud. And you could feel that heat. It's an island that was given by Jupiter, under whose auric magic we meet for Geometrica. It was given by Jupiter to his niece, Persephone, after she'd been abducted by his brother, Hades, and taken down through a lake that we visited into the underworld. So Sicily was his gift on the occasion of her abduction, which was also her marriage. It's an island laced with grief. You can feel it. Because when she was abducted, Demeter, her mother, the sister of Jupiter, with whom she had conceived Persephone, went into a deep grief. It's the only one of the Greek and Roman myths where one of the gods expressed grief. The grief of a mother for her daughter, taken against her will. And then we flew away and landed in Paris. And all of a sudden my heart began to lift. And then when I got to Chartres, I was almost uncontrollable. I was jubilant because we'd entered into a different tonality of the deep feminine. It was a tonality that was discerned long before the Greeks had reached their classical period. Over 3,000 years ago, the Celts and the Druids coming out of Central Europe, and in their great migration 3,000 years ago, they spilled all over Germany and France, up into England and Wales and Scotland. And it was here, in Chartres, that they discerned the most powerful telluric energies that they understood immediately was the energy of a virginal goddess. And for 1,000 years, this was the Vatican. This was the seat where every year the Druids and the Celts would come from all over Europe and have extraordinary rituals. And on the site, which is now the cathedral, they fashioned the Black Madonna. And on the fall equinox, they would take her down into what is now the crypt. And on the spring equinox, they would take her out and put her on top of the granite promontory that at that time jutted out from a juxtaposition of granite and limestone. And for 1,000 years, they would bring her out and take her down, and bring her out and take her down. And then came, according to the legends, Mary Magdalene and Joseph of Arimathea, and said the prophecies of the virginal goddess were now answered in the man Christ, who had been crucified and rose the third day. So for 3,000 years, people have come to this site and worshipped a very refined tonality of the divine feminine that activates in your soul the realization of the divine human. So there's a very specific connectivity between the micro and the macro here, around cosmic divinity and cosmic humanity. This is where it merges with a potency that is rare around the earth. 1,000 years ago, the Chartrian masters came. And the Chartrian masters, once Fulbert, in 1006, recognized the telluric energies here. Chartres brought the Platonic and the Neoplatonic and the Dionysian and the very ancient learnings around the 7 liberal arts. They brought it to the highest refinement ever known. Built that magnificent cathedral in only 26 years. And then the final master, John of Salisbury, seeing the rise of scholasticism and the rational mind in Europe, decided with exquisite mastery to surrender Chartres, leaving only the object of the cathedral without a single name for who built it. And the Chartrian school literally disappeared from history. When we came in 2005 on a pilgrimage with Apila and Andrew to honor Mary Magdalene and the Black Madonna, we ended up in Chartres. And in an experience of ecstatic, almost I would say irrational exuberance, when we understood that 2006 was going to be the 1,000th anniversary of the founding of the Chartrian Academy, as it was called, in honor of the Plato's Academy by Fulbert. We decided to commemorate that 1,000th anniversary by instituting the new Chartrian school. And so every year we've been recreating one of the 7 liberal arts. And we've now come to our 6th.